Now, let me now tell you what concerns your customers. Since
Yes.
you've decided to use this beer analogy,
Yes.
at least when people drink beer, they
Yes.
are certain that they drank the beer and they're paying for the empty bottles they consumed, right? They're paying for the
I'm not stealing the
quantity.
beer.
Well,
But they steal the beer a lot.
that would be from your own perspective. I mean, if you're careless enough
fact.
with your beer, then that's your problem.
No.
But some people will say that for beer I have not consumed, in fact, I've not seen the bottle close to me, I'm being billed for it because perhaps my neighbor has refused to pay for his own beer.
Okay, thank you. The three of you drink beer a lot. Maybe Marco decided to stop drinking beer.
That's not correct.
And, and we just use the example of this beer now. If in your neighborhood there is a vulcanizer or a battery charger who you see all the time you're driving home, stealing electricity, and you don't care because you think it's not your business, or there's a big man near your house who has about 10 ACs in his house, what they do is that they bypass like 8 of that and connect direct. The effect is that you are paying the bill.
So,
because what happened?
How do you expect that those who live by this big man
man
and vulcanizer will know that they are stealing electricity?
Oh, people know a
When
lot.
you-
We know now. Look,
You know.
we, all of us Nigerians, we know. The problem with us in Nigeria is that we don't report crimes. And even when we report crimes, the police, you even hand some people over to them, turn your back, they are gone. This thing is a joint thing. All of us, if we want light, that's what I'm just saying. If we want light, it is not about discos, it's not about gencos or transmission, it's about me, you, and everybody else. There's no way I can know from my own Abuja office who is stealing electricity.
So what you've decided to
can.
do is because since
Yes.
you now believe that, Malquest should be held responsible for the beer that Chamberlain drinks and never consumed, you refuse to give people meters because you want to punish entire communities.
No.
Behind it?
You see, first of all, let's go back to the electricity value chain. We need to understand this issue of how the revenue goes into the system. For every 100 naira that we collect, we are the collection agents. The Yoruba people call it Babalajo. We are the one that goes around to your houses and give you the bill, collect the money. But the money that we collect from you, we only have roughly, most of them, less than 25%. Others, the power generation takes 60%, the transmission company take 11%, the regulators, the bulk trader, the regulators themselves, 4%. So it is from this same collection. So the point I'm now making is that metering is a very important thing. But it is not just me coming to your house and just installing a meter. There are a lot of internal things that we do which you may not be aware before we can even bring the meter up to your doorstep. And I'll start with this. Number one, remember, we took over less than 2 years ago. It's only in this country that we think magic can happen when some people have run this thing for over 50 years and they've done a lot of things that are very, very embarrassing. Now, we need to do, first of all, we have to start with customer enumeration. I have to know the customers in my area. We also have to do a lot of ICT thing, which is what we're doing now. We're investing a lot on ICT because we have to take a lot of data, have the vending system and all those things before we then begin to roll out the meters. And this thing takes time. It's not...
Can I take you back a bit?
Yes.
Wait, before you came in to take over the PHCN, did you think about what you were coming to do?
Of course.
Are you sure you did?
Yes, very much so.
Because it looks as if you came in and you did not know what you were coming to take over. So you came in and you found plethora of challenges and you're stuck.
You are buying a used car. And, of course, you go there and have a look. Sometimes you test drive it. You pay for the car. The owner go, you get the documents. You take the car away. That does not mean that your alternator, the alternator on that car, which was probably programmed to last for 10 years, and the car is about 9 years old, it doesn't mean that the alternator will not pack up unexpectedly. You wouldn't have factored that in when you were paying for the car. So a lot of things will go wrong. It's a used car, a tokumbo, whatever they call it. You can't compare that with a brand new vehicle. That is the way you should look at these utilities, the facilities, the infrastructure. So to clean up a lot of these things take time. Like the billing system, we have had to do a lot of cleaning, and we're still doing it. You see some duplications. You see a lot of things that were done in the legacy days, pre-takeover. And we can't get over this in 2 years. That's what I'm saying.
Let me ask this.
Yes.
About electricity theft or energy theft, as you describe it, can you, the discos, can they meter their transformers or not?
In fact, Ikeja and like many other discos have started doing that.
Metering their transformers?
Yes.
In order to know
feeders,
if anyone is stealing from...
But even when we do that, if the four of us are on one transformer, only Maokwe has a meter. That means three of us don't have meters. We meter the transformer. What that tells us is the amount of energy that comes out of that meter. When we now want to do our billing, we know what she has consumed because she has a meter. So we take Maokwe out of the equation. Then the three of us. Of course, you are the elite. You have like 5 air conditioners in your house. I only have 1 fan. He doesn't even have a fan. Unfortunately, until we get to the point of doing the total customer enumeration, I will not know the energy you consume. We look at the total because we have metered the transformer. So we now look at what remains after taking out our own portion. And then we now share it over the 3 bills. So what that leads to can be unfair, not just on the customers, even on us. So we have cases of overbilling and underbilling. To me, the solution is metering. And I'm saying metering, is the way to go.
So why?
But to achieve that, if the federal government alone is owing me 32 billion, and nobody's talking about that, we're talking about, you see,
what do you do?
People that come here to do
some people will say that.
Don't they pay?
Some people will say that's your fault. Because, I mean, why is it that, if ordinary customers, you call my colleagues and I elites, so-called elites, yet when, we default, we don't pay our bills.
Thank you.
First thing we see NEPA officials with their ladders and what, and they promptly disconnect us.
Right.
So why wouldn't you disconnect federal government agencies to press
on
your point?
You are right. I agree with you. You are right. I'll just give you 2 examples. We have a regulator. To me, the banking industry has their regulator. The regulator is the central bank and the NDIC. But the banking sector, if you look at them as human beings, they are adults. For us in the industry, we are at an infant stage, less than 2 years old. Don't think about pre-takeover. It's ugly.
It's very
I don't want to go there.
Not to think
now,
about it.
No, I don't want to go there because we were not the one running it. We all know the truth. In this country, people are wasteful, corrupt. Government property is nobody's property. That is the truth. So I'm not going to talk about that. I'm saying we are at an infant stage.
So is that why you cannot disconnect?
Now, that's what I'm now saying. I'll show you. This is what you can have a look while I'm talking about this. There's a particular government, just an example, and I'll give 2 examples. One is the role of NAC. NAC, our regulator, should not shut this industry. The role they should be playing is to see how we can develop the industry and let it grow. Okay? They cannot be using sledgehammer on an infant or you kill the infant. Okay? There should be a way that we should work together. And that example I'm giving you is a letter from NERC.
The NERC says you cannot disconnect them.
Hold on, that's what I'm saying. Read the letter. NERC, there's a particular federal government corporation in Abuja, Utape or something is the name of the place. That's the letter. They are owing us, in this case Abuja Disco, 90 million naira. This federal government entity was disconnected on September 30, 2014. After they were disconnected, they now came out and said, okay, they paid 20 million out of 90. We now said, okay, we won't reconnect you. 20 is too small now out of 90. I beg, pay more. Later on, they started whinging and talking. Then they brought 10 million naira. We now say, okay, we will take the 10 million naira, but it has to be accompanied by a payment plan, which is just saying, from now on, I'll pay my whole current billing and then pay a bit of the area. We can spread that even over a 3-year period. Guess what they did? They went to report us to NEC. So we took them to court when they didn't pay, which is the normal thing. Okay, let's go to court. While we were doing that, Almighty NEC now wrote a letter to us saying, 1, you must not disconnect them. You can look at the second page of that letter, paragraph 2. Don't disconnect them. 2, treat them as your other MDA debtor customers. Should NEC be condoning debtors and debts in this industry?
How have you been treating your other debtor customers?
We are saying pay your bill, you don't pay, then we disconnect. But the ministry, what they do, they beat up all our staff. They don't even allow them to have gain access, and they are metered.
No, but
they are metered.
What did NERC mean when they say treat them as your other?
That is the letter. You can have a look. What they are saying is that don't disconnect government agencies. In order to leave them and let them.
Is that what they told? They said treat them as you treat your other MDA
customers.
Read
it.
No, hold
treat
on.
them.
How do you treat your other customers?
No, they had given an earlier directive at the point of takeover that as if I'm using my own words, like something like be gentle with government agencies. And we feel that is wrong. Because if the federal government is owing 32 billion bills, and I can tell you, National Assembly is owing